This is Story Recapped. Today I'm going to explain a drama, sci-fi, and thriller film called Looker. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. A commercial model named Lisa consults with the plastic surgeon Dr. Larry Roberts to have a long list of precise changes done. Larry comments that she's already beautiful, but Lisa stresses that her company wants a particular look. The doctor notes the changes are so tiny no one would notice. Still, Lisa insists, since Larry already worked on her other model friends, Tina, Cindy, and Susan. Larry's partner, Dr. Jim, tells Larry it must be a new showbiz fad since Larry has already worked on 3 models with similar specific requests. Jim tells him that if he doesn't work on Lisa, someone less competent will, so he proceeds with the operation. After she is healed, Lisa dolls herself up in her apartment, satisfied with her new look. When her doorbell rings, she opens the door, expecting her boyfriend, but a bright light flashes instead, freezing her. When she moves, she sees the empty hallway, confused. She looks around her apartment, wary of a possible intruder. Suddenly, the door slams shut by itself. She finds a gun case on her bed, confusing her further. A man's silhouette follows her, hidden behind her curtains on the balcony. More flashes of light freeze her again. She wakes up against the curtains, twisting herself in them, causing her to lose balance and fall over the balcony. The man moves inside the apartment and puts a pen on the couch. He then puts an odd-looking gun back inside the case and drops a button on the bed. The next day, Larry arrives at his clinic and is briefed by his secretary, Ellen, on his day. She mentions Senator Harrison wants an appointment, but Larry says the senator won't get elected president with just a facelift. Jan also reminds him of his fundraiser event that evening. After Larry works on some patients, Jan tells him the police called asking for him. She also informs him that Cindy has arrived for a final checkup. In the consultation room, Larry checks Cindy's face for scarring. She asks if the outcome matches the specifications on her list, as the company said it would make her more desirable. Larry assures her she is already desirable. Cindy tries to flirt with him, but Larry blocks her attempts as he doesn't date his patients. Over the intercom, Ellen informs him that a police officer is there to see him, so Larry tells Cindy she can go, reminding her to behave. Cindy replies she just wants some excitement in her life as it's so boring. In his office, Lieutenant Masters asks Larry about his 2 former patients, Lisa and Susan, who have recently died. Larry is surprised by the news and says he doubts the girls off themselves. The officer agrees and asks to see their files, but Ellen says they're missing. The lieutenant suspects Larry is involved and asks if he's ever been to any of the girls' apartments. Larry denies this, but Lieutenant Masters doesn't look convinced. Just before he leaves, the officer picks up a pen on the floor identical to the one left at the crime scene. He also notices a missing button from Larry's suit, identical to the one left on the scene. In the records room, Ellen tells Larry that all the models' files are missing. She already called them to redo their files but hasn't gotten a hold of Lisa and Susan. Thankfully, she was able to reach Tina, who's waiting in the consultation room. Larry meets with a panicked Tina, who tells him they are killing the perfect girls, so she wants him to change her back. Just then, Ellen buzzes in and announces Senator Harrison's office is on the line. Tina hears and assumes Larry is also working with the senator. Ellen buzzes in again and says there's a call for Tina. Tina panics as she didn't tell anyone where she is. She tells Larry that even the police are in on it before running home. In her hurry, she leaves her bag behind, where Larry finds a paper of her measurements taken by digital matrix. Suspicious, he tells Ellen to inform Lieutenant Masters that he's going to Tina's apartment. At her apartment, Tina begins changing when a flash of light freezes her. Larry arrives and sees the flashing lights above. He tries to call Tina but then hears a scream. He rushes outside just in time to see Tina falling from her balcony. Larry looks up to see a mustached man on Tina's balcony. Larry runs up but finds Tina's apartment already empty. The police arrive and question Larry, not believing his story. Larry returns to his car, realizing there's only one model left, Cindy. At a photo shoot, Larry approaches Cindy and asks her to attend the fundraiser with him, much to her delight. He makes an excuse that his date got sick, which puts Cindy off, but she's convinced when he tells her the host is a prominent figure in commercial advertising. The two arrive at the party where they are greeted by Jennifer, who tells Larry that John Reston is eager to meet him. Reston says he will fund $4 million into Larry's proposed pediatric burns unit, as long as Larry names it after him and allows them press coverage. Larry agrees to the generous offer. During dinner, Reston tells Larry his company is a $6 billion multinational conglomerate that dabbles in all industries, even commercials. He asks Larry about his involvement with the death of the 2 commercial models, saying it might jeopardize his burns unit project. Larry assures them he's not involved, but both girls are linked to Digital Matrix. Reston reveals that Jennifer runs Digital Matrix. Jennifer shares they did measure models for plastic surgery, but the research was abandoned, saying the connection must be a coincidence. After dinner, Jennifer confronts Reston about Larry suspecting them, but Reston assures her Larry doesn't know anything. Later, Larry brings a drunk Cindy home. They fall in bed, but instead of kissing her, Larry tells her he'll wake her up for her work in the morning and leaves, disappointing Cindy. The next morning, Larry offers to drive Cindy to work, which makes her happy. A Digital Matrix van is parked by the shoot location. They tell the director that the computer says Cindy's jumps are off, and the client wants her to match the computer's calculations, so they have Cindy fall on the sand over and over. Larry goes to the van and peeks inside, where he sees them monitoring the angles of Cindy's movements. She keeps scoring low, so they decide to wrap up the shoot and animate her at the lab instead. The director tells Cindy they will send her for some tests at Digital Matrix, so Larry offers to go with her. Lieutenant Masters follows them to the company building from across the street. Cindy is taken for her tests while Jennifer takes Larry on tour. Using her security card, they gain access to the laboratories. Jennifer demonstrates the research process on Larry, where he watches a commercial through a device. She then shows him how the device tracked his eye movement, showing that he was looking at the model rather than the product advertised. She explains they optimized the commercials so viewers will look at the product instead. Still, the model surgeries didn't change anything, so they abandoned the project and decided to take a different approach. Meanwhile, Cindy walks towards a large machine that will take her body measurements. The technician assures her the process is painless and she will get $200,000 a year as the standard modeling fee, while her computer model will do all the work for her. Cindy is skeptical at the high pay for doing nothing, but the technician assures her it's because she has the perfect features for the job. Cindy gets lowered into the machine, where she gets scanned thoroughly to build a computer model of her. Elsewhere, Larry asks Jennifer about the lines on the floor. She tells him they're guide tracks for maintenance equipment. They pass by a door labeled Looker Lab, where light flashes can be seen from under the door. Larry wants to check it out, but Jennifer tells him her keycard has no access to the lab. Instead, she takes him to their scanning room, where they make entire commercials with computer models without live actors. Larry spots a security card on the table, so he distracts Jennifer and steals it. Once they leave, Jennifer tells Reston that she thinks Larry stole the security card. Jennifer suggests they retrieve it from his house using the Looker device, but Reston doesn't want to cross him. Jennifer reminds him they already managed to steal his files, pen, and button without him knowing, so Reston finally agrees. Back at his house, Cindy grows suspicious of why Larry has been keeping her close. Just then, a news report about Tina and Lisa's recent deaths play on the television. Cindy realizes her life is in danger and is upset Larry didn't tell her. Crying, she goes to her parents' house to get some clothes. When she gets there, her mom and dad barely pay her any attention while they watch television. Cindy tries telling her dad about her situation but gets brushed off, making her cry harder. Alone, Larry hides the security card and looks out to the sea, where the beach is full of people. Just then, the mustache man flashes the Looker gun on him. In the blink of an eye, half the people at the beach had left. Confused at the seemingly jumps in time, Larry goes to wash his face. White light flashes again, and suddenly the water has overflowed. He looks at the time and sees that 3 hours and 15 minutes have passed. Just then, Cindy arrives and stops at Larry's bewildered face. They drive back to Digital Matrix to break into the Looker lab. Thankfully, the guard on duty is too focused on watching the television to pay them much attention other than to ask them to write in the logbook. The two head upstairs, where Larry uses his stolen security card to gain access. Cindy is worried they'll get caught, but Larry assures her not to worry. They use the card on the Looker lab, but it doesn't have access. In the lobby, the mustache man sees a card repeatedly trying to access the Looker lab, so he heads upstairs to check. Meanwhile, Larry and Cindy head to the storage room next door, where his security card works. Larry checks for a connecting door to the lab, but all they see is a maintenance robot cleaning garbage bins. Larry remembers the magnetic lines on the floor are for the robots, so they follow it, hopping on top when the Looker lab opens to let the robot inside. Inside the lab, the two explore while commercials play on the televisions. Larry finds a binder labeled Looker, which stands for Light Ocular Oriented Kinetic Emotive Responses. According to the papers, it puts people in a hypnotic, suggestible trance. Cindy ends up in a trance while watching the commercials until Larry snaps her out of it. Aside from using it in commercials, the company is producing a gun with the same effect, giving the illusion of invisibility. Larry also finds a Looker defense item that uses smoke to render the light useless. Just then, Cindy notices the mustached man and screams as he uses the gun on them. When Larry snaps out of the trance, Cindy is gone and he gets thrown back against the wall. Time keeps on jumping as the mustache man beats him up. Larry struggles during the fight but finds reflective sunglasses on the counter. He wears one which reflects the light back to the mustached man, freezing him instead. This enables Larry to snatch the looker gun from the man and kick him as payback. He finds Cindy disoriented and the two run out of the building back to his car. The mustache man reports what happened to Reston, who orders him to bring back Cindy but get rid of Larry. Larry takes Cindy to his clinic so she can rest. He hears intruders, so he grabs the looker gun and looks for them. He heads to his office to call the police but finds that the lines are cut. When he steps out, the whole place is covered in smoke, rendering his looker gun useless. He sees the silhouette of two men through the window, but they begin shooting at him with real guns. While dodging bullets, Larry finds the looker defense emitting smoke and turns it off. Taking a scalpel, he cuts one of the men's hands, making him drop his gun. The mustache man opens fire and the two intruders run, taking Cindy with them. Lieutenant Masters arrives at the trashed clinic, now suspecting Reston and wondering what Larry will do next. In their cars, the mustache man is trying to flash the looker gun on Larry, who keeps blocking it. Larry tries to do the same as the two cars weave through traffic. When Larry checks his rearview mirror, he gets flashed by the gun. He finds himself in a fountain and makes a run for it before the cops arrive. When the civilians point his location to the police, Larry hides inside a police car, laying down on the floor. Once on the road, Larry sits up and addresses the officers, only to find that they work for Reston. They bring him to Reston's Institute's building, where a big reception for prominent people is held. Larry uses the looker gun on them and dresses in police uniform to get inside. Lieutenant Masters spots him and follows him. Inside, Reston gives a speech about how powerful television is a selling medium. On a floor above is Jennifer, who controls the commercials they will showcase. Cindy is handcuffed beside her, who's sure that Larry will save her. Downstairs, Reston continues that television is also effective in spreading propaganda. Unlike traditional means of infiltration, people now willingly subject themselves to manipulative content. Persuasion without coercion makes television more effective. Just then, Reston spots Larry in the crowd and falters, but the mustache man arrives and discreetly points a pistol to Larry's back. Relieved, Reston introduces their newest technology of using computer-generated actors on real sets. Fortunately, Larry passes by a woman he knows, enabling him to escape. Reston finishes his speech and meets with the mustached man, who tells him Larry went upstairs. On the floor above, Larry finds different sets. Just then, Jennifer turns the sets on, forcing Larry to hide in one of them. Reston and the mustached man arrive with silenced pistols and split up to find him. Unaware of what's happening, Jennifer cues up the commercials for presentation to the audience downstairs. She projects a computer-generated Senator Harrison on an office setting where his eyes glow with the looker light, putting everyone in a suggestible trance. Meanwhile, the mustache man searches for Larry around the sets. The camera pans to the kitchen next and projects a computer-generated Cindy advertising a bug spray. Unknowingly, Larry peeks over the counter, causing the audience to break from the trance and burst out laughing. Angry at his intrusion, Jennifer hurriedly heads down to look for him. The mustache man continues to creep across the sets when he sees a silhouette behind a backdrop. He immediately shoots it, only to find that it was Jennifer. He cruelly ignores her and continues looking for Larry. The sets continue to move, programmed on automatic. The camera pans to a bedroom next, where the mustache man crouches beside a computer-generated couple advertising sleeping pills, making the audience laugh even harder. Meanwhile, a bloody Jennifer makes her way back to the control tower. Cindy takes advantage of the situation and reaches for the handcuff key, but Jennifer fends her off with the last ounce of her strength. Below them, Larry hides from the mustache man and Reston as they circle closer around him. He lays down inside a car just as the mustache man arrives. The camera pans to the set and a computer-generated model advertises the car. When the mustache man leaves, Larry gets up, but the mustache man sees him and shoots, shattering the windshield. Larry retaliates and flashes the looker gun, freezing the man. Larry tries to take his pistol just as Reston finds them. Reston shoots but hits the mustache man in the forehead, allowing Larry to escape. Downstairs, the audience whispers about the bizarre commercials when Lieutenant Masters arrives and sees Reston with a gun. Larry and Reston continue to circle each other. Meanwhile, Cindy finally takes the handcuff key, lowering Jennifer down when a surprised Reston finds her. He heads to the control tower, just missing Cindy, who hides underneath the desk. Reston spots Larry on a monitor and runs to where he is. Tense, Reston arrives and finds Larry. He shoots but misses again. Just then, Lieutenant Masters arrives and shoots Reston. Reston's eyes grow wide as he falls to the ground. On the screens, he dies during a commercial for Spurt toothpaste. Larry finally reunites with Cindy, both happy to see each other safe. Larry notices a cut on Cindy's wrist where she was handcuffed, telling her she should get it fixed. Cindy says he can do it since he's a doctor. Larry refuses because he doesn't date his patients and he wants to take Cindy out on a date.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.